Just setting a timer. So this shouldn't go on for too long, I'm hoping. Hello guys, you alright? Hope everyone is well. Look at the timer on here. Timer. Right. Oh jeez. How we doing, folks? Just bear with me. I'm getting all kinds of notifications off this. Oh jeez. Phone's gone crazy on me. Right, I've started an hour. How we doing? Hope we're alright. Hope we're good. As you can see from the title of this stream, thanks to Great Brit for sending me this link yesterday. I would have done the stream yesterday other than I was going to Rochdale to see Billy and other survivors who was doing a peer-to-peer session meeting. Went up to say hello. Had some brilliant stew and dumplings from Linda, you're an absolute gem. And just having a general check on the place, which is coming along really well. You can tell Billy needs a holiday because he's been working. He's been working all night long, and others on that place. There's been a lot of time put into that. I went to give him some colour charts to get some colours, various colours in regards to the PAG. But he also enlightened me on a couple of updates, Billy being as diligent as he is, and there's plenty of updates to come. We had a couple of little interviews with updates regarding Alan Brett, that as a council leader. Remember, if anyone's been watching the kind of slight documentary that I've been doing to support what Shatter Boys and Survivors Matter are saying. Hello guys, you alright? I'm just waffling away here. If anyone's been following that, then they will see that Alan Brett has vowed to clear his name when he was caught with leaked audio pretty much blackmailing a ward in Rochdale for funds for improvements to roads. So he was going a little bit crazy. You alright guys, you alright? So he's basically had to gone from the article where he was saying he vows to clear his name to now he's been pulled in to a committee. He's been forced to apologise, but the committee consists of mainly Labour committee chair people. So you can see that there was a little bit of a impartiality problem there straight away. So that's been talked about, me and Billy. Also a story he was telling me regarding a position at the Rochdale Council, which was the tax and licensing enforcement officer. Now, apparently, that is the man that is the man you go to see in the council, or is the man that looks to make sure that all your papers in regards to licensing via taxes in order. Now, apparently, he's been fired. Now, he's been fired because it turned out that what was a blatant cronyism, blatant abuse of power. He had a website up where he was advertising for a fast track pass in order to get a taxi license for the sum of £300. Now, considering he is a taxi and licensing enforcement officer, that you can tell he's totally brought the council into disrepute there. So how long he's been doing it, how many people have passed because of that, because it's clearly dodgy, I've no idea. So that's something else we spoke about. So yeah, when it comes to Rochdale, it just keeps going. It really does keep going. It's absolutely ridiculous. I only went up there just to see if he was all right and give him some colour charts, and there was just more and more stories coming out. So like I say, I want to give a big thank you first of all to Great Brit for sending a link to this next story, and also for there being the man in the seat, the hot seat. So hope you're all doing well, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Just got tons of kind of stuff to get through here, really. Don't know where to start. Probably here. Right. The Metro News is at it again, isn't it? It's at it again. Now, I'm not a paper reader. It's just all full of, there's bits and nuggets in there, and it is informational, but there's so many kind of brainwashing stories and misinformation that it just spoils it, because it clouds the memory, and they're just at it, they know what they're doing. So I tend not to go near papers, really. Yeah, exactly. So the last story I done regarding Metro News was the hypocrisy of the left is astounding. Now, that was pretty much not far off a year ago, the 4th of January. Now, I done that because they had an article that come up, and I think it caused a little bit of a stink. And it was why you should buy your teenage kids sex toys. Now, if anyone's been following the channel from back then, they'll remember that. And it's basically this health and leisure editor or something that was just putting arguments from the age of 11 that you really should be taking your kids round to sex shops and kind of perusing through sexual toys. The video's still up there. I checked it before. The hypocrisy of the left is astounding. And that was the 4th of Jan. So Great Brit texts me, or he sends a comment, a link through the comment section, and he just tells me of another one that they've been at it. Now, no doubt, they've been putting all kinds of stories regarding all kinds of matters, but if people don't know, if they're from out of town or not from England, the Metro is a free newspaper, and it's also online as well. But it's one of them papers that has such a high circulation because you get it for nothing. There'll be people in Manchester just giving them out to people as they're walking to and from work. They tend to be on a lot of buses, on a lot of trains. So they literally, you can imagine the circulation, they're getting right to the heart of people. And it's something people can just read and they just toss on the bus, so they don't even have to take it seriously. They literally just take it for what it is. But for that 15-20 minutes that they're walking on a train, maybe an hour on a bus, that they're actually taking in this bullshit. So that is the bit that is dangerous with the Metro and other kind of freebie papers and stuff. So they've got a new one out. This is dated the 17th of December, and it is children told boys can have periods too in sex education lessons. Now, what planet are we on straight away? You know what I mean? You can tell if I was to be the conspiracy theorist, but it's not anymore, because the boundaries of the Overton window is opening to that degree now where it's just coming true. For me, we're in a brave new world, or we're in the beginnings of a brave new world, where the logic is illogical, up is down, 2 is 3, left is right. There's just no common sense at all from everything that, for me, as a 40-year-old male that doesn't have periods, and let me tell you, I don't freaking want one. What? I see what my wife has to go through. I see what my eldest daughter is now going through, and I'm going to probably look forward to see what my youngest daughter is going through, and I don't want that. So don't be doing that for me. But I know it's not for people like me. This article is mainly geared towards the fact that you've got to be seen to be taking on everyone's considerations, no matter how they regard themselves. Even if they regard themselves as a cucumber, then there will be legislation to protect them because they've got cucumber human rights. It is getting that farcical to tell. I mean, this article, I mean, it's come from Brighton and Hove City Council. So that, to me, says a lot. I don't know whether that transcends to the people watching this stream, but I've always regarded Brighton as a bit of a liberal kind of high population of gay people. Not saying that's bad, I'm just saying what it is. It's a very free and easy kind of place. I've played a gig there, I've played a gig right on the promenade where people just legged it out at like 5 in the morning when I'm still rocking away, and they're all just there checking the sunset because it's right on the beach. It was absolutely beautiful. I just put an album on and went and joined them, but it was crazy. It has got that kind of hippie kind of vibe there for me as well. So it doesn't surprise me that it's come from there. But the sheer logic that they're now going to start telling 11-year-old boys this mixed message that up is down and left is right, just so you can protect what some people may regard as an illogical train of thought. However, people are people. People have got the right to be what they want to be in life. I ain't going to deny them the right. But then when everyone has to play that game because they want to be that person or that thing, then that's where it really gets a little bit smeared for me. It doesn't make any sense. So without waffling on too much, I'll read a little bit of the article. Brighton and Hove City Council's advice for teachers states trans boys and men and non-binary people may have periods. The guidance goes on to state that the education about periods should be inclusive of all genders, and bins for used period products are provided in all toilets. So they're going to put them in the boys' toilets. And you know what's going to end up in there? You know what I mean? It's not going to be tampons, is it? Let's face it. Boys are boys. They're going to piss about. You put that in front of them, they're going to have a laugh with it. So you're going to get all kinds in there. Brighton and Hove City Council told the Mail on Sunday, by encouraging effective education on menstrual and puberty, we hope to reduce stigma and ensure no child or young person feels shame in asking for period products inside or outside of school if they need them. Well, you just do it discreetly anyway. What are you going to do? Just walk up in the middle of the frigging class. Excuse me, miss, I just need a tampon. No, you'd hold it down and you'd just go to one side. So then why do you have to do this? It just does not make any sense. We believe that it is important for all genders to be able to learn and talk about menstruation together. Our approach recognises the fact that some people who have periods are trans or non-binary. A dog's a dog, a cucumber's a cucumber, a carrot's a carrot, a man's a man, a woman is a woman. There's no amount of, well, let's look at it this way. In order to actually actively say semantically, you have turned this boy into a girl, how many different body parts would you have to replace? And then that's not counting the cells in the body, and that's not counting your freaking brain on how your brain works, because your brain works in conjunction of what you are. We know that. Otherwise, I'd have a female brain. I haven't got a female brain because I don't like X Factor. No, but you know what I mean? It just does not make any sense. Does not make any sense. The brain is set a certain way, just like the cells in the body, just like your body parts, just like your organs. You know, my biceps is going to be probably bigger than a 12-year-old girl's. But you know what I mean? My legs, my physical strength, so how much of that do you need to change before you can accurately say, you know what, you have totally 100% changed that boy into what you could say is a woman? You can't just throw a few drugs and snip, snip and put a zip down there. It don't work like that, does it? And then you've got to regard what the psychological effects of all this. Use a condom, Great Brit, yeah, definitely. Absolutely ludicrous. The guidance applies to sex education lessons for children as young as 8, so they're getting younger now. It was 11 last year for the sex toys. Now, periods with boys. It just worries you when you think that with the next generation coming up, they've got no chance, have they? They've got no chance. They've got to soak this up. They've got to soak it up. Just a quick story. I went in to see my eldest daughter's college tutor, like a parents' evening type of thing. And I had to use the loo. And guess what kind of loo it was? Gender neutral. That was a first for me. And hopefully it's going to be the last, because it was a very weird sensation. And I tried to bring it up with my eldest, and all my eldest would say, Dad, don't start. Because she knew where I was going to go. There's like 6 or 7 different points with that. I mean, I was at the sink and there's a young girl there just washing, and it's like, there's all different connotations. I just felt a little bit uneasy, only because I'm 48 and I'm not used to it. So there is that. The younger generation will adapt, but that's why they're brainwashing kids, because they are the younger generation and they'll suck this shit up like a sponge. So 5 years down the line is called conditioning. They're conditioned to think like this. Hitler done it. So many other dictators done it. Get to the kids. So it is. So from my perspective, from growing up, these are all alien. I mean, I went to a school in Manchester, North Manchester. Now, that school, the first year I was there, year 1, it was the first year that was integrating boys and girls mixed. Every other year preceding that, it was a boys' school. So we've jumped from that. Now, like I say, I'm used to mixing with girls, so it's no big deal, but it was kind of strange. But at primary school, I mixed with girls, so there was no big deal. But when you see that the predominantly 4 years above you are all blokes, and you've got 1 year that are all, they're that small you can put in your freaking blazer pocket, boys and girls running about, it was a bit weird until the other years kind of filtered out, and then it just become the norm. So to me, this is the same. This is, over years, it'll just become the norm, but it's stretching it to absurd levels. At the end of this article, it's got, in January 2016, children were given 24 options to define their gender. Now, why are you giving children 24 pissing options? There's 2 options, and 50-50, you're one of them. So it's not hard. You don't need to start injecting another 22 subspecies, because like I say again, don't matter what you do, you can't recreate totally, because it means taking out too many organs, changing the bone structure, changing your metabolic, everything, your cells, your brain. That's before you've even got about facial features and your ding ding. You know what I mean? There's just too many things. So this is some of the questions that they ask. Question 12, do you consider yourself to have a disability? Then they've put no, yes. Question 13, how do you define your gender, right? The young people we talk with use the following terms. Which of these best describes how you define your gender? Choose as many as you want. Choose as many as you want. Right. Girl, boy, tomboy, female, which, you know, male, young woman, young man, trans girl, others, brackets please state, trans boy, gender fluid, agender. I don't even know what that one is. That one sounds the most sinister of them all, if I'm going to be honest with you, because that tells me that you don't really mean it, but maybe I've got it wrong. Androgynous, bigender, non-binary, demi-boy. That sounds like a fetish. Demi-girl, sounds even worse. Genderqueer. Now, why can they use that term? But if I run around saying queer, I'll get done. I'll get done. Get locked under the jail. And I'll be getting slapped with rainbow socks from now till next week. And you know that. Gender non-conforming, trigender, all genders, in the middle of boy and girl. What the fuck is that? Intersex, not sure, rather not say, and this would be my one, beam me up, Scotty, get me out of here, please. I'm not a celebrity, but I don't want to be here. You're stupid, absolutely stupid. You can't change ethnic race. You are what you are. My genetics will be part African, part English. It's the way it is. Bleaching my skin ain't all of a sudden going to turn me into an English freaking gentry. I ain't going to just go buy a monocle and walk around with a flat cap on. It ain't going to work like that. I'm still what I am. You know what I mean? It's metaphysical. That shit happens before you're even formed what you are. But that's me on a spiritual tip. Do you even eat spiders? Is this some other kind of funky conversation that's going on? Someone wants to identify as a slipper. Well, you've got every right to, mate, because I dare not be the one to tell you can't. Fuck's sake. God knows where I'll end up. Locked up under the freaking jail. Hello, Charm Superior. Nice one. Oh, yes, Lisa. How you doing? Good to hear from you. So yeah, this is a crazy world we're living in. Crazy. Now, I took the liberty to, because if you say this now, it almost sounds like you're bigoted, you're trying to, they're trying to make it bigoted. No, I'm just trying to say it's weird. It's weird. You can't metaphysically change someone like that. You just can't. And I'm not having it. And you can sew on what you want and you can give them whatever drugs you want. You ain't going to change it. Now, if you want me to call you freaking Sheila when your name was Ted, then you know what? Maybe, but don't be running around my house with a dress on. That'd be what I'd say. Unfortunately, before I get into this, Jesus Christ, I've had so many weird experiences. I don't watch telly, but the wife was watching First Dates last night in bed, and it didn't stay on for long. It was a male who was about 50, 60 years of age, dressed as a woman, just because he likes dressing as a woman. I don't think he was going through any change. He didn't do any hormonal stuff, and I don't think he really wanted to end up as a woman. I think. Or at least it didn't seem to go that way. Now, he decided to go on his first date dressed as his alter friggin' ego, you could say. So you can imagine the surprise. Oh my God. That was a picture. But, I mean, that's crazy. It's to me, it's crazy. Do what you want, but he'd done it on purpose because obviously he wants to know that whoever he meets, they're going to be totally happy. But there's a way of doing that. And probably first dates when you got the cameras blazing everywhere, and you probably got 4 or 5 cameras on you with impeccable frigging quality and lights, and you've got your stubble showing through and all your lipstick's not really applied and all that kind of stuff, and your wig's probably not totally, but each to their own. But it just shows how crazy it is, because if you used to say, just say anything, even if you laughed at him, probably under the laws, that would be classed as some form of hate speech and you get done over for it. So, but to me, that's just crazy. If you want to do that, do it in your bedroom and maybe put a bit of Barry White on and do your little bit of juggling and have your little bit of fun wearing a wig or wearing your wife's knickers. Do what you want. It's up to you. Just don't instill it on me or my kids, and don't tell me or my kids that really that is right and normal, because it's not. The age of everything's lowering now, but yet you still can't smoke till you're a certain age. You still can't vote till you're a certain age. You still can't drink till a certain age. What the fuck? But yet they can go and buy sex toys from 11. Yet what with this? You can tell them boys they can have a period from 8 years of age. 8 years of age. Just the more I think about it, the more it's kind of bringing out the cold sores on me. You know what I mean? So I thought I'd look at just differences. So I tapped in a clip and the guy just run through it, some kind of medical doctor, and the title of the clip was Uncommonly Known Differences Between Males and Females. So males have got larger veins, right? So there you go. You're going to have to rip out every vein. You're going to have to rewire the whole body, right? Females tend to have vertical foreheads, whereas males are more sloped. Now, I don't know. I haven't done that test, but I'm just going off this. Someone has, and someone is obviously not getting out a lot. Right. Males, when it comes to fat deposits between the organs, apparently. With females, it tends to form a ring around the abdomen. So what this guy was saying, that with that, you tend to see that with females, liposuction is far more easier than it is with males because of the distribution of the fat. So it's quite interesting, even though it's just one of them useless facts that you hear, but the more he was talking, the more it was getting interesting. Right, apparently you can tell different sexes by an MRI, right? And liposuction is easier on females, but you know what? You get someone who's had all the changes they want and stick them in a pissing MRI scan and see what the MRI scan is saying. Do you think the MRI scan is going to be politically correct? No, it isn't. It's just going to go, BMI, whatever it is, whatever calculation, you are a male, you are a female. And that's how we should run it. We should run it like the MRI scan, as far as I'm concerned. But you can see what happens when humans get involved. They just fuck things, everything up. You know what I mean? On average, males have longer eyelashes. Did you know that? Oh Jesus, the conversations that's coming up now is it because of these facts? These useless facts. Right, apparently, this is what I've been told, right? A female's first finger is normally longer than opposed to men. So that finger for women is normally longer than that one, okay? Now with males, it's the other way round. That finger, when you put your hand up, is slightly longer. I don't look it there, but it kind of is. So apparently, same again. And what are you going to do? Chop them all the fingers off? Got to resize them fingers. If there could be millies out, that's the difference. That is the difference. Because the MRI scan's going to suss this shit out straight away. So you better get your millimeters right. And your eyelashes. Males are 3 to 10 times more likely to stutter. So if you've got all your shizzy on and you've not had all your wiring done, you've got your wig, you're going out for a meal, you think, right, I'm now a bona fide woman, you're stuttering, chances are people are going to suss you out because of the high propensity that you could be a male rather than a female, apparently, according to this. Females are better at distinguishing shades of colours over males. Now, the women are going to love that one, because that's probably right. That is probably right. For me, every time I look at a colour that I regard as purple, the wife goes, "It's cerise," and snaps at me straight away. So she's on it. And I'm just kind of, yeah, whatever, it's freaking purple. That's all I'm saying. Apparently, blood is more evenly distributed round the body in males, right? Whereas females, it is concentrated around the core organs and the pelvic region. Maybe because of childbirth, I've no idea. But same again, you better sort that out. There are about 1,000 genes that vary between males and females. 1,000 genes. With regards to the liver, this is why the sexes, as in the different sexes, process everything from alcohol to Tylenol at different rates. So the way you're processing, your filtering system is different as opposed to a male and a female. So better sort that shit out. You're going to get MRIs on you. A male jawbone is heavier, apparently, which makes sense. Females have better peripheral vision than males, whereas males are better at scanning. So, same again. Let the conversations flow with that. Apparently, during a heart attack, males experience classic symptoms like chest and jaw pain, while female symptoms can be more diverse. In fact, it can often be confused with heartburn. It's the same again. Same again. See, these are. This was one clip that was. It just said 25 differences. There was another clip underneath it that said 50 differences. But in reality, there's probably thousands of differences if you really metabolically wanted to break the body down cell by cell, like it says. So it proves its point. But yeah, no, you just go and have a few drugs, give you a bit of counselling, put a zip on there, put a little bit of padding in a couple of areas, take a little bit of hair off here, a little bit of hair off there, then, hey, presto, wheel them out. And she is a girl, because if you don't class her a girl, we're going to Crazy. Female's blood contains more water it contains more water, which is about 20% less than red cells, right? No, sorry, I've got that one totally wrong. Female's blood contains more water and about 20% less red cells. So you're saying again, the whole system is slightly different. Although females' brains are better at many other tasks, save the comments, male brains are geared towards giving better spatial cognition. So that's being spatially aware, where women are much better in so many other tasks as well as multitasking, has to be said. Females tend to get motion sickness more easily, especially when pregnant. And also, males die more from almost every disease except breast cancer, female reproduction disorders, and benign tumours. So, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? You know what I mean? They're just a few that tells you that we're different species in a sense. We're all the one species, but we're different. Now, would this be wrong? My way of thinking, but you'll have to tell me if what I'm saying is so-called hate speech, because I'm not prepared to disregard anyone's feelings or anyone's desires. It is literally up to you. But at the same time, when you've got an opinion of what you consider yourself, then you've got to accept then other people may have an opinion on what you are as well, as long as it's in the same common decency in which you're kind of leveling it out. So, with all that in mind, all that information in mind, unless you go through each and every one of them processes in order to change the male from the female or from the female to the male, for me, I don't regard it as a full, say it was a boy going through this process. I would not regard him as a full-blown female. I just wouldn't. Now, the left want to tell me that I've got to say that, but I must admit I don't. I respect the right of him wanting to feel that way. I ain't going to tell him you shouldn't feel that way. You feel like what you want. But I've still got the right to consider whether I feel that's accurate. And I'm working on the X and Y chromosome theory, then the chances are you've got a lot of convincing to convince me that you're anything other than what you were when you were born, particularly unless it was some kind of abnormality to the body or whatever, freakish things do happen to people. You do get people born with double organs and all that kind of stuff. But the question I'm posing, and it sounds pretty harsh, but it's semantical. Would you regard anyone who has had that type of process, would you class them as a subspecies? Because have you then took yourself out the realm of being a boy because you've changed yourself slightly from being a boy, but then metaphysically you're not quite a girl either? So does that make you something totally separate? Or are the establishment right in what they say in that if we do these few procedures, then no, you're exactly what it says on the tin? Because I'm just wondering, I'll let the comments. Wonder if my dog wants a transition. I tell you, it is. It is. I mean, there's so many social issues. Well, it is a form of. It's a psychological problem, isn't it? Let's face it. It's a psychological problem because you've got to question within your own mind why you're going there. Now, the word normal always pops up, and it's a horrible phrase because nobody's normal, because everyone is fundamentally different in a sense, but you kind of come into the same traits as boy, girl, whatever, white hair, black hair, freaking whatever. But where are they classed? What is the situation? So when they're feeling that way, do they? Because one thing I'm thinking, the amount of psychological problems that's attributed to people who were probably nurtured from a young age to think this way, that it's acceptable. And maybe you could even admit it, even if they wasn't nurtured to feel this way, you could go the other way. Some people totally feel traumatized because they felt like a girl all their life, but they're living their life as a boy and they can't quite get round it. So, but psychologically, do you think when you actually feel that way and then you go through all your changes, psychologically, does that make you just all right and boom, done. My brain feels a lot better now. I'm in a better place. Because from what I was hearing not so long back, that the suicide rate of people who go through this process, the mental illness that goes with it. Hello there, I don't know who, I just seen good evening Phil, I didn't see the actual avatar pop up. Hello there guys, if you're just dropping on. Sorry, you're going to have to play it back, I can't go through that list again, my word. How you doing? Yeah, exactly mate, suicide is a huge problem in the trans community, so are these guys nurturing it then? Because in a sense, what they're doing, they're starting the process earlier. They're starting from 8 years of age. They're mixing kids up from 8 years of age. So if they're giving them the ultimate power and confidence to scream from the rooftops who you are, and not only that we'll pay for it, and then we're going to churn you back out into the system, they've still mentally got to deal with that. So then you've got to then pay out your tax money, as well as in getting his new ting fitted, you've still got to pay for him to then get mental counselling. So in reality, what's it going to cost? Freaking hell, the NHS is already burdened enough. Do you need to burden it with a load of sexually misappropriated people? I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? You know, you kind of allotted one lot in life, I'd say. You one way or the other, but hey, each to their own. Each to their own. I've got no bigotry and no kind of ism towards anyone who wants to do what they want. Whether it be wear a freaking nappy at 49 years of age. You know what I mean? It's up to you. If you want to walk around with a tea towel on, do what you want. It's your house. You do it. Just don't invite me around the day you're doing it. And if you don't want to discuss it when we're out eating dinner or something, that's probably better as well. So, it's just crazy. So, I mean, that's about it really. Other than, I've got a few other, you know what, January next year is going to be such a busy year. Well, yeah, they could be making people sterile, you know, all that's going on. And, well, I mean, if Lisa's still on here, Lisa, if you're on here, then you'll back up what I was saying. When we was having a conversation not so long back, remember, Lisa? And you were talking about improprieties with an insurance company and the way they were kind of extrapolating data from people. And the way they were then penalising people. I remember the conversation well. Lisa might not be here. But it appeared, the way Lisa was describing it, is that it was eugenics. All over. Eugenics. What? The National Lottery give £500,000 for what kid is it? See? So now you think as an individual, when you're queuing up at the post office or your paper shop to buy your National Lottery, think what you're putting your money into. Now, I know National Lottery do a lot of good deeds, so I'm not, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of tough people within the committee that choose the best allocation for that money. I'm sure it don't get distributed as freely and as easily as the working class people would like. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I've never looked it up, it's just an assumption. So, yeah, so we was talking about eugenics with Lisa. She popped back up, yeah? Oh, she might have nipped off. It's what it is. There's eugenics all over everything that we're doing, you know? So many things that make you sterile, make you this. I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but, you know, everywhere you look. So this is only another kind of way that it changes people's brain patterns. It probably gets more people pliable with the left as well. You know, so it's an overall brilliant brainwashing exercise, but at the same time, it's absolutely ripping society in two. Because you're teaching people that were taught a certain level of honesty, integrity, and what right and wrong is, to now tell them, right, well, just rip that paper out of the pad, screw it up, let's throw it in the bin and let's start again. You know? And you're not necessarily doing it with us, although guys like us have to read the paper, we have to go about our business watching this shit. Oh, there she is. Yes, 100%, Phil. Yep, see? So the eugenics, all part of it. You know, they just want to train you. They want to train you over a slow period, but it's harder for people like myself, like Lisa, who she's explained she's got a lovely family. You know, you've got younger children. You can see your younger children going through this process. And I felt it when my eldest was at secondary school, that I felt when she came home, I had to reprogram her, because what she'd learned at school, it was that zany and that one-sided and full of their own bias, that I had to sit her down. Go, right, listen, let me tell you something else about that might give you a little different way of thinking. It's like, oh, you know. Yes, it is, Melissa. It is our job. And a lot of people relinquish that. Now, I'm not saying it's their fault, because kids nowadays can't be asked. My kids love to come home, just get upstairs and just sit on the phone. And if I don't get them interjecting into stuff, if I don't get them active around the house, he ain't doing it. So with parents, I can understand why they just go, oh, I'll leave them to it, they're out of my way, I can get my jobs done. So that's form of conditioning. Over 10 years, that's all you're used to. So then you could argue that you can imagine the argument coming out with it over your siblings when you're older. And at that moment when you're coming out with hurtful things, oh, you never used to play with me as a kid, and oh, remember them times I used to come home from school, you used to go straight upstairs. Almost that you sent them up, and it was like, well, no, it wasn't really like that, but you kind of put it out there that I was a bad guy and kind of now, you know. So there's certain things that we should be doing as adults, as the parents, to talk to the kids and try and reprogram them and bring them back to that common sense angle. Now, they're getting it from everywhere. They're getting it from the music they listen to, they're getting it from the films that they watch with product placement, and all kinds of what do they call it? What do they call it? It is subliminal messaging, where they get in just little blinks of this, little blinks of that. They've done it, they scientifically test it, know it works. They use subliminal messaging in advertising, not even in films, you know. So they target people. Like I was saying on one of my last videos, that if anyone now as a demographic buys into the point that, oh, well, look at little me and get into the victimhood. Yeah, there's reality of real shit that goes on. But the majority of people realise that that is kind of a fallacy now. We all get on with it. Because when you really break down what is going on, every last human being on this planet is getting done over. Full stop. The moment you have to succumb to a birth certificate is the first moment that you as an individual, when you can't even shit properly, you getting done over. And then from all the way up, you're getting done over, from vaccination to take this, to take that, to this is what you get taught, that's what you get taught, stand here, don't do that, stand like that, hold your hand up here. And it's just one long fucking social engineering exercise, isn't it? So, you know what? I can half understand why people, one, don't get it, and two, don't really want to get it. Because it's like, what the... When you try and victimhood is about gaining unearned status, well, I guess it is. Or what they feel is unearned status. You know, I could go on. My dad's from Sierra Leone. Shit. I could grab victimhood from that all day long and talk about the conflicts and talk about the rape of minerals and the fact that my dad was black. When he first come over here, he used to get spat at whilst he was walking down the road with my mother. Yeah, this was way back when. Spat at. Now, I've had little bits of that, but when my mum told me, it kind of shocked me because I was only young then and that was something new to me. as well as all the other stuff, because my dad was jet black, and back then there was hardly any mix around because it was first generation, so it tends to be black. So that was more in the faces of people at that time. You were so different, it was unbelievable. It's like holding up a cucumber and an orange in terms of look, you know? But not to say that everyone couldn't mingle, and not to say that people didn't, you know? I grew up in a predominantly white area. I used to get shit, but at the same time, I loved Miles Platting where I come from. I would never change a single day. So I've got no victimhood. I'm more balanced. I can see it. I can see shit that's gone on in the past. Now, that goes all different ways. I can see how that's not just a white man. There's many different men, many different dictators, many different leaders that have got all different skin tones that have done some nasty shit over the years, and that has treated people like slaves. Now, the Romans done it with blacks, the Portuguese done it with blacks, you know. The Americas were taken over by the Spanish. I mean, the list is long, and I'm not even a fucking historian, and I could tell you that. So when you get all that in the mix, what? So because my next door neighbour's black, right? And because he's white, rather, and I'm supposedly black, but I'm mixed race, because he probably has got a better job than me, and probably because he was educated at the same school, but he might have got better qualifications. Now, that's because of victimhood. Now, I can buy into that. I can sit here as a victim and go, you know what, because as a black person, this is why I'm sat like this. Now, you could say that to anyone. You could reverse that victimhood, because it don't really matter. It's not about the colour of the skin, it's about the mentality. You could train that person that, you know what, you're in the shit because of this. And if you tell that person enough time, they're going to believe it, equals victimhood. So even though there's been some absolutely terrible things and still going on, so I'm not negating that, I'm not neglecting that, you've got to have it up on balance, you know? Like people on this stream, my next door neighbour, I cannot blame them for woes of the past because my dad got spat on, because of his forefathers got treated like crap, because there were slave ships that dropped black people at all parts of the Caribbean, and then the fittest will survive and got back to England, you know, because of all the racism that's happened as that has transpired and as black people have migrated through. And even now, from the race, I can't look at one white person and go, right, you are responsible for this, unless I hear it in your heart or see it in your heart. And even then, I won't go there. You're all welcome to the opinion. That's the way I am. I've been called a Nazi. I've been called a traitor to my own sort. You know, so names, they don't really worry me. Only when people kind of call me blue pill Phil and betray me, that's a different matter. But generally, it's not a big deal. I can get on with it. Get on with it. Been called lots of freaking names. So the victimhood status, we shouldn't carry that round with us. Anyone shouldn't, you know? Even if you're white. If you're white living on a degraded estate in the middle of fucking nowhere, or the council don't want to worry about because they regard you as the wrong type of people, or because of the way you talk or the way you deport yourself, you can't get little opportunity, then to me, you've got to work with the system in order to get ahead. So with that, there's a percentage that has to happen, but don't discount the amount that has to come from yourself before anything, you know? Oh, very nice. Who's that? Slapdash? Nice one. You know, I was told something by an elder brother years ago when I was sat with absolutely nothing in a flat in Miles Platting. My mother had died. My mother had died, and my father had not yet died then. So he used to come and see me because he was coming to see me from London. Now, what he used to say to me was quite profound, because he was quite a deep guy, probably where I get it from. But he used to say to me, and this applies to any race, The cards you were given in life, you've got them. You can't change them. That is the way it is, right? It's up to you whether you play the game with them cards or whether you try and make the best out of that. I.e., what he's saying, don't become necessarily a product of that environment. Because I was from Mars Platin, he was trying to lift my elevation, my thought. He's trying to say, don't just stay stagnant here. Try and get yourself out of this mindset of what they expect you to be like coming from Mars Platin. And it got to me straight away. So Great Brit will testify to this. There was one comment that was getting a couple of comments, and Great Brit said he's seen it on a stream about one geezer giving me loads of grief because I use big words. And he said it in a video I'd done the other day in the comment section. And I'm like, why are you giving me grief for trying to elevate my mind? Why are you giving me grief to try to deport myself in a better way? You know, that's the one thing my brother was talking about, is that if you do it right, you can mix with anyone on the planet and they would not know the background that you've come from. But if you become a product of that environment, they will see it from 100 yards away. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying you should be ashamed of it. But then you've got to look at the element of, well, the lack of opportunity could have done because of the way I deported myself, the way it was perceived. So, yeah, you know what? I'm from Mars Platin. I'll say it all day long. I'm glad I went to a shitty little secondary school up the street. I'm glad I grew up in Mars Platin. I'm glad I got the treatment that I got, good and bad. I'm glad I met the people because it gave me life skills to get where I am now. Without that, you know, I can go anywhere. I've always said this, that people from better echelons of life, they ain't got an ounce of common sense or life skill. I've been round them. I've been round people that have had a better education than me, around my age. Yeah, they look aesthetically like they're going to get on in life. They can talk well. They've got a good stock as in parents. But they don't know what the fuck they're on about. And when it comes to common sense, they walk around the streets alongside Moss Side. Boy, you better have good trainers on, because they'll see you from 100 miles away. So life skills, you know, where have you got to go to learn that? You've only got to go and have them experiences to actually know what it feels like. So, you know, when I do talk to certain survivors and other people, I can resonate on so many levels because the background I had wasn't always brilliant. You know what I mean? I'm one of 7 children. I was the last one as well. So I was the one that they all used to have a piece of. And that was before my fucking mum and dad had a piece of me. You know what I mean? 70s kid that got kicked around by everyone. So you just got to deal with it. You get on with it. But anyway, too much of my private life there. Jesus Christ. And I don't know why Jews are mentioned. Yeah, wisdom is gained through suffering. I'll say it again. There's one saying. The man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. So the moment you realise, no matter how smart you are, no matter how well you can talk, that you know absolutely fuck all about what's going on, is the moment that you are truly on it. You know, you get it on here, you get people that know it all, seeing it, do it, oh, you're wrong here, you're wrong there, you know? And it's like, right, okay, you must be elevated, you must be levitating. You must just like glide in and out. So, right, listen, guys. Wow, I've got 1 minute 47. I've actually wrapped it up in an hour. I can't freaking believe that. Right, I'm going to say some goodbyes, and I'm going to say, sorry, this kid kicked around. Yeah, mate. You know how it went back then. No fucking about. Kids should be seen and not heard. You know, you get slapped by a policeman on the street. You'd go home to your mum, tell your mum, the policeman's just slapped me. She'd slap you up because the policeman's had a piece of you. So you think you got it. You just got it. Skinhead. Oh, Jesus, she was a skinhead. No, I'm not going to cast that aspersion, mate. I live next door to a punk, and he was the funniest guy, honestly. And he got me in the world of, into the world of Ian Jury and the Blockheads. Wow. That was something different, let me tell you. Go on then, Great Brit. You got a question, mate? Cheers, Jeff. Happy Xmas. If anyone's dropping off now, have a really great Christmas. But I'm waiting for Great Brit before I wrap up. Great Brit's coming. His fingers are working. Tapping away. Yeah, yeah, black slave trade. And it'll still be going in some African countries. And it'll still be going on all over the place. You know? There's all so many different countries. You've got South American countries that use a lot of slave trade as well. So, bad is bad. You can't just point at one and make them kind of the big problem. Bad is bad. And I'm not trying to defend anyone there as well. But yeah, in terms of narrative, the narrative is when it comes to Islam. Oh, look, the hour's gone. Right, Great Brit. Have I missed your comment? Oh, shit up. Stop. Won't stop. Right, there we go. Right, Great Brit. You there, mate? Right, okay, I'm just going to crack on. There's people I want to thank because this has been a long year. This will probably be the last post. I've got plenty of other stuff coming early January. I've got so much stuff I need to get to. If I can quickly get to that. I've got 3 boys, a girl and a groomer, Rochdale Council. That little documentary that's coming up to 4 parts at the moment. There's part 5 and 6 yet that I've not even started on that. So that's to come. That's going to feature more Linda in that. I've got one that's going to be juicy as anything, right? Global Compact Migration. Now this, when you read the title of this PDF, it makes your frigging hair curl. Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration. That should scare the life out of you. Now, I'm not going to talk too much now because I am going to get going. I should have really took more time to explain a bit about that. Now, I'm going to be doing a video of that. Same again, that's going to be January. Same again, that's going to be that big. It's going to have to be several episodes. So that's going to be time consuming. So thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much. You have a really great Christmas as well. Oh, you don't eat too much as everyone else. Hope everyone just has a nice balanced meal. Eat your fruit, eat your nuts. Make sure you brush your teeth. Look after yourself. Drink plenty of water. Yeah, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right, so I'm going to say, people I want to thank quickly. The wife and the kids, I've got to thank them. They're never going to watch this, they're never going to see it. But honestly, as you can see the journey that I've gone through, they would have seen more of it because they've seen it in real life. They've never argued, they've never complained. They've never got on my case because I'm all over the place at weekends, which has slowed down a bit, but they've never got in the way. They've always tried to accommodate what I've done, so I'd like to thank them first and foremost. Great Brit, I'd like to thank the man for all his help in the background as well as in the front. The guy is absolutely fantastic. Tony Bugle, I'd like to thank Jason as well. Naya, I'd like to thank you. Same again in the background. Eddie is okay. Nanny Robinson. Gernak, which these are vets now. Gernak, Andrew, and Simon Bean, MBE. Pag UK. Shatterboy. Shattergirl, i.e. Louise. Survivors. All unknown and voiceless survivors of grooming and historical and real-time abuse. People who haven't got the voice. So it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I'm just getting everyone out there. I've got love for all yous, as well as your lefties, as well as people with blue hair, as well as people with rainbow-coloured frigging knickers. Whatever you've got, I don't give a shit. We're all human beings, and you'll see that with what's going on in life, if you used to stop and think for 5 minutes, you'd realise that we've got a hell of a lot more in common as individuals, humans, part of the human species, than we've got not in common. The media and the world are trying to tell you otherwise. But when you really sit and think, and you watch streams like this, you'll think, you know what? We're all fucking the same. There's a saying that my mum used to say, but should I say it? I will say it because this is the background I had. As articulate as my mum was, she was like a fishwife at times. And when it got to it, she come out with it. And she said, son, we've all got a... Son, we all shit out the same hole. That was her saying to let me know that no matter who they are and no matter what they profess to be, don't ever let them think that they are better than you. No matter what they are, they might be better well presented, they might seemingly look more well educated, they might come across a little bit better, but other than that, they're just as corrupt, as you can see with our elites. They're just as nasty, as you can see, with the abuse that goes on, the paedophilia, on all demographics. You know what I mean? Satanism, all that kinds, highest echelons. You know, you tend to put actors and musicians at the highest echelons of society. But look at the shit that goes on there. Remember Barry Manilow? Not Barry Manilow, Barry, what's he freaking called? Where the guy was found in the swimming pool. Barry... Not Manilow, what's he called? Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore. The guy was found anally kind of pillaged, let's say, dead in a swimming pool. Fuck knows what had gone on to him in that party. Yeah? He went running off to New Zealand or Australia and then come waltzing back 10 years later acting like nothing had happened. But that only gives you a glimpse as to what the higher echelons are up to. They're all dirty, man. They're all dirty. So probably 2019 is the year to actually close them down. Close down the narrative and make it look like, you know what, we're on it. We're the normal working class people that have got a mouth in our head, but you can't keep putting us down as people who cannot articulate themselves, who cannot kind of put themselves across in a way that is probably bulletproof. Of course we can. There's plenty of people doing that. I'm interviewing plenty of people doing that, and we're not going to stop doing it. So the last people I'd like to thank is all you guys. All you guys that have been there through all the wavy periods of this year and are still here. People that have jumped on now, and whoever you are. I thank your patience, because it must have been a bit of a mind hell for going through all these different ways. But if you know, you have a rational thinking, you'll know I've got the right ideal in mind, and you know I haven't got hatred in mind for anyone. So I wish you all an absolutely fantastic Christmas. I hope you all get the presents you want, and I hope that you all don't eat too much, because we don't need an obese society. We need a fit, mentally astute, fit, physically fit, all livers in place. So next year we're on it and we can hit it. You know, because they'll find it hard with a mentally astute public, a mentally well-informed public as well. So whatever it is, whether you're travelling abroad for Christmas, whether you're doing whatever you're doing, staying at home with family, friends, with me, I'm just looking really happy to just having some good quality time. It's been a busy year this year, and a lot of us, all the family, have had so many different independent things to do that when we have had chance, the other one's doing other things. So it has been one of them years. So this is one of them years we can sit. We're going to have Christmas dinner here, all going well. We should be going to see my niece in France at some time over the Christmas period. Now, if that happens, I will try and get some footage and film it and see if there's anything interesting around there. Might not be interesting at all, but I'll see how it is. But other than that, probably the next time you're going to hear from me is New Year 2019. It's a year for new change and new reflection on what happened the year before, and how we don't want to fall in them same traps again and go through that again. So it's a learning process, isn't it? You know, it's a multi-generational problem that we're fighting now, and it ain't going to be solved in one march. A year's full of marches. It's probably your sons, your daughters that's going to be taking up this fight. So we've got to start it right, and we've got to make sure we're measured and we're at a decent pace in order to get people on board as well. So anyway, I'm shutting up because I've run right out of it. So yeah. Well, we're all keeping each other sane, mate, aren't we? Let's face it. I've got a little bit of solace talking this over with you guys, so I might have been providing a service, but I can't talk to this to my kids. Well, maybe I should be, but I don't want to kind of batter that on them. You know, it's only if a lifetime experience kind of arises, and then I will mention it. But yeah, no, honestly, that's been the other part about this year that me and Great Britain and I was talking about earlier, is that a lot of people in marches, and I felt that, and to a degree I do miss it as well, is that when you get to marches, a lot of people can't discuss certain problems as well. So they'll feel a little bit, you know, of, oh, I can't say this in front of my family, I can't say this at where I'm working, I can't say this in the pub. So they'll get to marches knowing that maybe people that they've been talking to on social media. So there's that instant camaraderie, and you meet a shitload of people that you've never met before. They're generally decent people. Yeah, so you go away with an absolute buzz. Oh, cheers, White Wolf. The word sensible, that don't really work with me sometimes. That word sensible is not really there sometimes, but thank you anyway, mate. But yeah, so it gives you that feeling that you're with people of the like-minded, and that's what this is all about, and that's what this YouTube community should be all about. It's like-minded people who want to go things in all the right way. So anyway, I'm not waffling on. Merry Christmas, Angie B. Hope you all have a good time, and I hope everything goes well. Hope the weather stays good for you. I hope it snows. That would be great. I'd love to get some sledging in. But probably some of you might be experiencing it already, or where you live geographically. In Manchester, we very rarely get it. Honestly, you've got a little bit where the tree's planted outside on a terrace street, and that's got a little bit of grass in it. When the hailstones, it kind of gathers in that. That's about the most we can get. I mean, it's always a freak winter when we get snow this far in the middle of Manchester. It tends to be on the outskirts, but the irony is, by the time it's that bad at the fucking outskirts, you can't get to it because you're not in the right vehicle. So if you're living in your Buxtons, you're living in your Rochdales, and up in the mountains further up, the hills, mountains, you're buzzing. And I'm seeing all kind of posting of people on Facebook going, yay, with the kids. And I look outside and it's just concrete and pissing down. And I think, damn. So fair play to you if you can get that in. Yeah, it is too wet, Stacey. You're freaking right there. It's been raining all the time, and the wind it's just terrible, isn't it? You know, it's like we need to relocate, which gets me on the last point before I'm going. I'm going to do a video one day, and I'm going to do a crowdfunding, or I'm going to open up a GoFundMe for a paradigm shifting machine or a time moving machine. Because I want to get the fuck out of here. And I don't mean this house. I mean this paradigm and this space continuum that we're in. So I can't do it all on my own. I've probably got about 60 pence on me. So we need to sort something out. So maybe that's something. Yeah, nice one. Something for the future. Crowdfund. We need like a Noah's Ark. A Noah's Ark, but 21st century one. You can just get through some kind of vortex. But anyway, yeah, it's right. But listen, guys, I'm waffling on. Have a good time. Thank you very much for your company and your support throughout it all. Enjoy yourselves. I love you all. Even the pissing haters. See you now. God bless. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.